Hi, I'm Lee from Ovia. I'm here today with Mike Page, and we're just going to talk about and walk through everything from lighting design, CCTV and fire alarm design service from the Scolmore group, which Ovia and ESP provide on a regular basis, really. So yeah, first of all, I hope everything's all gone well with the designs you received.
Yeah.
From our side of view, point of view, is we look at a couple of options right at the very start. So walking it all the way back to the very beginning. In an ideal world, and there's never such a thing, but in an ideal world, ultimately on our side, we're always looking for DWG files and drawings and stuff like that you can get scale drawings on a building. Ultimately, having a chat with you earlier, you sort of came into this place in a lot of disrepair, with no drawings, no details in that, other than a couple of photos and bits.
Yeah.
So going through that process, what we offer at Scolmore Group from Ovia and the ESP side is we obviously offer that personal service to come out, do the site visit, take the measurements and go through all your requirements with you face to face. How did that all sort of plan out?
Yeah, that was great. Reg, your colleague, come down, saw the place, like you said, it's in a real state of disrepair, very different to what it is now, a fixer-up, as you'd say. But yeah, he came out, he took all of the measurements, got the pitch of the ceiling and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, we had no detailed drawings. Like you say, commercially, when you're taking on any sort of large-scale project, there'll be drawings and a design and stuff like that, which other companies can work off of. But here there was nothing. And then when it all got mapped out on the drawings, but also on like the 3D design, it was like, yeah, exactly how it is, the pitch, the size of the walls, the doors, everything. It was, considering he'd done it all just off the measurements, was smart. And yeah, he placed all the lights before there was any racking in, anything like that in. And yeah, it was crazy. That's the first time I saw it looking something like what it is today. And it was on on a computer sort of thing. So that was smart.
Brilliant. And before we go into sort of like the levels and bits and bobs design, because ultimately how it works is you'll get a guy come to site, but then it's the in-house team that do design, and sometimes interpretation is, so hopefully you got back speedily designs for both. Did you make any changes? How did you find, because that's the working partnership, I suppose. Yeah,
down here originally we went for like non-corrosive fittings because this was going to be a storage area.
Right.
And then as we got into the project, obviously I'm a working electrician, I've quit my job, I'm renovating a warehouse to sell tools, but by no means do I know 100% what I'm doing, to say the least. But it was developing as we were renovating, the ideas sort of changed. And this became a showroom and a studio as well. So we changed from non-corrosives to, the LED panels we got now. And Reg was great at adapting that and feeding that back to the design team. They had a look at the levels again, adjusted it all. Great. I think as well, we were going surface here and surface upstairs as well. And then we decided to sort of suspend them, and again they looked at all that, made sure it still worked, and that was great. Just send them an email. I think I ended up apologising with the amount of times I said, oh, can I just change this, can I just change that, across the various designs. But yeah, they were more than welcome in and did all the changes and stuff like that.
Ultimately, look, at the end of the day, if the customer's happy, we get the end result right. That's what it's all about. And time frame for both the lighting design, your CCT and your fire. What sort of time frame did it take? Obviously, there were revisions.
To be honest with you, I can't remember exactly how long, but it wasn't a long time. It was a couple of weeks from them coming down to getting, the final working thing. So it was about a week to get the first design, and then the kit some of the kit started, as I agreed it, started turning up, and then alterations from there. But yeah, a couple of weeks, and it was fitted soon after that. So it was a real speedy process. We did the lighting first, and then ESP come down as well, and used like the DWGs produced by Ovia. They used them to design the CCTV and the fire alarm, and that come again a couple of weeks later and was swift. I couldn't keep up with that. I was still fitting the light in, but it was nice to have and start planning and stuff like that. So yeah, super quick.
Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, always on the phone, on email and stuff, like I say. So that was good.
The key things that for on our side that we must achieve is, of course, we must achieve British standards. We must achieve specific guidance on lighting, which we discussed with you, and I know that the certainly ESP is BAFE accredited. So that again, what that hopefully brings and instills for you is the confidence is that design levels are correct. I know that we was talking earlier, and you said that you have to get it checked and signed off, and you had no problems with that. Again, it was somebody
it was
came down to check it all.
It was brilliant. I'm a working electrician myself. I've fitted out many buildings with emergency lighting systems, fire alarm, and not done too much CCTV. But I'm normally working to a drawing, to a design, and I'm just the installer. But when it comes to doing it myself, it was actually quite overwhelming at the start. Right, we've got to have emergency lighting because we've got employees and stuff, and that's got to be, to regulation. It's got to work, and obviously all that sort of stuff. Same with fire alarm. I've installed many a fire alarm system to a drawing, but when it comes to fitting my own, it's got to be covered. It's got to be BAFE accredited, and a local company come out that I work with to sign it off and commission it. And obviously they wouldn't do that if it wasn't. They were happy for me to install it because they trust me as an electrician, but they wanted to make sure it's designed properly before that, because they don't just want to turn up to commission something which isn't obviously compliant. So again, that was great. And the emergency lighting is something we know as electricians how to connect it up, good places to place them, and general sort of stuff to do. But when it comes to actually being commercially compliant for insurances and stuff, I think I speak for many electricians where we're not, we're not, the buck shouldn't stop with us because we don't know everything. So someone coming and taking that design process, making sure it's all above board, everything's compliant, was a weight off my shoulders, and just made it really easy, to be honest. I just got to install it, and someone else had worked it all out for me. Brilliant. So that was,
and that helps with it being a free service that we offer, which obviously that's great, isn't it? That you're not having to pay for it. And of course, finally, that you can then use that as your body of evidence. Again, when the guys are checking it, to show that the compliance levels are there.
And to work to as well. I installed it all. Obviously, the design's great too. Like for instance, the lighting is great to see. What it's going to look like, the lux levels and stuff like that. But I actually used that design to install it all. So scaling off of it, positioning light fittings, all that sort of stuff. When it come to running the conduit system to supply all the lights and for them to plug into, again, that was all based off of your design. So although it was sort of nothing to do specifically with your products, the design allowed me to then wire it all and configure the wiring to suit your kit, which was great as well. The design was that in depth that I was scaling off of it. I was literally drawing my cable routes onto your drawing. So that was great.
Great. I know. Look, that's brilliant. And from that, I mean, you're obviously very experienced electrician, etc. Looking at it from a outsider's point of view, with the fact that you get flat drawings, measurement drawings, and 3D drawings, etc., throughout the three different designs, do you feel that would, for anybody, no matter how experienced, novice, all the way through to expert, that there's enough information there, there's guidance there for any level of electrician or installer, if you like?
No, I would agree with that. I think it's also important that I'm very as an electrician, I love a flat drawing that's scalable, with everything sort of dropped down there. But if you were dealing with, obviously I was a client in this situation, but where my fiance is my business partner, where I would show her a flat lay drawing and she would go, I can't really visualise it. Being able to show her the 3D stuff for her, someone who's not electrically biased, someone who's not, technically or trade minded, she could see all of the lighting and go, oh, that's going to look really good, as a flat lay drawing to her is just a load of symbols on a bit of paper. So I can see it being really good for showing, the installers have got the flat lays, the client could look at the 3D sort of thing. If I was using this service on a job that wasn't for myself as an electrician, I'd be able to provide the client with a 3D idea. I'd be able to provide the specs to the wholesalers, because you spec out all the light fittings and stuff like that too. So I could provide the spec to a supplier to get your stuff to my wholesaler, and then I could also issue the drawings to the installers to fit it all. So it's pretty all-encompassing, really. It was smart.
Good.
There's lux levels and all that sort of stuff as well. You can get really into it, can't you?
Oh, you can go into it as much as you want. You've got uniformity, your lux levels, your minimum, your maximum, and that you've already mentioned it there. Probably my last final point, which brings us to the end of that, is on every drawing and design, you get a schedule of product, and of course, attached to every design are the data sheets. And again, giving you a visual look of the product, giving you the data information. If you want to go that deep in what the product does, how it performs, what it looks like. And I guess ultimately when we were doing the design and you were looking at, like, for example, this room, and it was a non-corrosive, and went, actually, change the look of that, we need something, then hopefully that sort of adds in a different bit of element so that you can physically see the product on a data sheet.
I think it's great as well if you're working to, especially in the commercial industrial environment, you'll be given, you know, obviously a task to do, but they'll put in specifications of a light fit, and it's got to be this, or it's got to be that, or it's got to be IP this, and that sort of stuff. So again, having that information that you can hand to a client and go, look, it meets all of the requirements you've set out, you know, the fit in, and then here's the design of how we're going to do it and stuff as well. I can see that being brilliant, especially in a commercial, you know, in my sector where I work, that design would be, I don't think they could come back with many questions apart from altering it with what you give them. So it really is all encompassing.
Brilliant. Well, no, thank you, Mike. Look, hopefully it's you know, it's a service we offer. It's a free service, and hopefully it's a strong tool that we've talked about and proven today, and you know, and the results are here.
Sure.
You know, you guys will see it, and it just helps just make sure everything is right, regardless of the amount of times it needs tweaking, changing, and doing, so that the end result, ultimately, the customer's happy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Brilliant. No, thank you. And that, step-by-step walkthrough really of what happens with designs on lighting, fire alarm, and CCT from Scolmore Group.